Do you love reinforcing what you already know? Well, we are getting a dose of that today for the Daily Bread Bible Study, day 129, Friday, May 8th, 2020, focusing on 2 Chronicles 5 through 7. So a lot of this will be very repetitive from what we have already discussed in the Daily Bread Bible Study. They're focusing on the dedication of the Temple of Solomon. So let's jump into 2 Chronicles chapter 5. Verse 1 says, "Thus all the work that Solomon did for the house of the Lord was finished. Solomon brought in the things that his father David had dedicated, and stored the silver, the gold, and all the vessels in the treasuries of the house of God." King Solomon then gathers the people together to process the Ark of the Covenant and the tent of meeting and the holy vessels into the temple built on Mount Moriah there in Jerusalem, which is the site of the Temple of Solomon. The ritual includes, quote, sacrificing so many sheep and oxen that they could not be numbered or counted, which is a lot of sheep and oxen, from 2 Chronicles 5:6. They bring the objects into their places, noting the ark contains only the two tablets of Moses. Now, I myself have been confused about this, thinking that the book of the law had been placed inside the ark versus just being added next to it. That's from Deuteronomy 31:26. It said, take the book of the law and put it beside the ark of the covenant of the Lord your God. Let it remain there as a witness against you. I thought that beside it, was just referencing that it had been placed with it. But they are separate. They are not, it is not inside the ark. Just the two tablets are. So focusing on, this as well too, we go back to the scene of the worship in the temple as they're consecrating it. We have the beautiful image of the community singing before God in a unison of praise and thanksgiving with music. And God fills the temple with a cloud, indicating his pleasure and presence there in that place. In 2 Chronicles 6, today we talk about the dedication of the Temple of Solomon. And so we see King Solomon give his speech similar to what's done in 1 Kings 8. A lot of it's been discussed on day 102, so you could go back to day 102 of the Daily Bread Bible Study and see more fleshing out of this. But remember, my notes here say that God has not lived in a city since Egypt, and God has not chosen a ruler, but now God is choosing Jerusalem as the city and King David in his line as the ruler, there King Solomon following that line of David. And so then King Solomon gives thanks to God, for the Lord has fulfilled his promise to me. Thus the temple is primarily a place to seek mediation with God. Just a reminder that, of what I've been said before. King Solomon discusses justice issues that ought to be mediated by God. These are repeated from day 103. The sins against neighbors, the unknown sins that lead to defeat of the hand of enemies, the lack of rain and famine. King Solomon asked God to hear the prayers of the foreigners in this place, to bless the military battles, and most importantly, to forgive sins, especially ones that lead to exile. Now, I feel like this is a foreshadowing, as I mentioned previously on the Daily Bread Bible Study in 103, that rain and the famine, indicated there about the prophet Elijah and his, indications with King Ahab and the withholding rain from Israel. But for us, in this 2 Chronicles 6, we see that they're carried away to a captive land far or near, as referenced in 2 Chronicles 6:36, which is also going to happen in the narrative arc of 2 Chronicles, that we're going to see the kingdom be exiled. Additionally, King Solomon adds some poetry in 2 Chronicles That is not found in 1 Kings, so a little bit of new content. In 2 Chronicles 7, with all these words, God shows up not only in cloud, but in fire from heaven. And all the while, the congregation continues to chant their liturgy in 2 Chronicles 7:3. For he is good, for his steadfast love endures forever. I think of a lot of Christian songs, and some of them are based around this concept as well too. Or contemporary Christian, I should say. Though contemporary is getting older at this moment in time. Anyways, in summary, this festival lasts 7 days, and with the 8th day being a solemn assembly, and thus the work is finished. Similar to 1 Kings 9, God appears to King Solomon a second time with a warning, saying, I will bless King Solomon for staying true to God's ways, and I will pluck Israel up out of Jerusalem and destroy the temple for unfaithfulness. Yet again, foreshadowing what is to come for the people of Judah. So there is our Daily Bread Bible study. You have any comments, focus, energy, questions? Just reach out to me. There's a lot less content to produce, at this moment in time, which is kind of a blessing and a challenge as well. So thanks for journeying with me on this journey through this material we have already seen.